I hate seeing those videos online where it's a white woman and her little baby, and she's saying, I'm introducing my baby to this black ass music because I loved this black ass music. And that's not the caption, right? The caption is, you know, mommy used to be so cool, crazy, and wild. This is the kind of music that I used to listen to. And, you know, it's a 2-month-old baby. It's a 6-month-old baby. And, you know, it always goes viral. Oh my God, so crazy. And it irritates me and it gets under my skin because when is the last time that you played the I have a dream speech for that little white baby? You know what I'm saying? Like, when is the last time that you read letters from Birmingham to that little white baby? I'm willing to guess never. Will you ever do that? I'm willing to guess never. And so it's not about an appreciation of the culture, it's a costume. Black culture is something that you can dip into and you can utilize when you want to look really fucking cool. Look at me. I can memorize the lyrics to this rap song. Bitch, who can't? Who can't memorize the lyrics to a rap song? It's really catchy. I saw a video of two white women in Paris. One of them had I don't know, like a cut on her lip or her eye or something like that. Obviously, she got into it with someone. And it's like, the sound that was playing in my mind when someone in Paris thought that he could push my friend or punch my friend or steal my friend's bag, whatever. And the audio of the song, and it's like, oh, this guy in Paris thought he was going to disrespect my friend, but I'm from New York. And the audio was, fuck them other niggas because I ride for my niggas, I die for my niggas. First of all, there are no niggas mentioned in this story. There's not a single nigga in this video. I don't think that you know any niggas. Fuck what niggas? What niggas are you down for? I know an entire generation of niggas that would love for you to fight for them. Since you really get down like that. Since you're really about that life. I know generations and generations and generations of niggas that are being shuffled through the school to prison pipeline system in this country that would love for a New York down ass, boss ass bitch like you to show up and fight for them. What about those niggas? I don't like those videos. This is the song that's playing in my head. Wow. You just niggered up. Wake up in the morning, first thing. Oh my God, you hop up out of the bed, you turn your swag on, you look in the mirror, you see a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, and you say, that's my nigga. Oh my God. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I do find it to be insulting. And the reason that I find it to be insulting is because I actually give a fuck about Black people. And I actually give a fuck about Black culture. I actually care. Now, I have to give you an example. Oh, I'm going to give you this example. And the things that I'm saying, I'm not saying that anybody is bad and anybody is wrong. To be honest, this podcast episode in particular really isn't for you. If you're not Black, I'm not saying you need to cut it off and don't listen. I'm sure that it can help you. I'm sure that it can shift you. You know, everything that I do and say is brilliant, but I am not the person that you have a conversation with because you feel guilty for being white. That's not who I am. That's not what I do. Really don't give a damn at all. I really don't give a shit. I'm not, there's a lot of different roles for everybody to play in terms of the revolution and the dismantling of white supremacy. I am not the person who hosts the circles and the workshops and the let's discuss our feelings and let's uncover our internalized racism with white people. And I'm not that person. I'm not that person. So if that's what you're looking for, that's what you're used to, click off because you might get offended. I don't know, and I don't really give a shit. Okay. So anyway, I saw this okay, a couple of years ago, we had these foreign exchange students that stayed in our house from Paris. Super great, teenage boys, one 16 turning 17, the other one 19 turning 20, right? Really cool kids. I have nothing against them personally. It's just experiences that you have when you are a Black person dealing with non-Black people, and you're just kind of like, huh. That's really interesting. And these experiences led me to a deeper respect and love for my own culture. So that's the reason why I'm telling you the story. So anyway, there are these little French boys, French young men. It's never right for me, I feel, to call teenagers like girls or boys, young people, anyway. So there are these young people, and they're here, and one of them is like really, really into Black American culture. Okay, really, really into Black American culture. And it's really interesting because, we would be driving from place to place. And of course, I'm playing the chauffeur. And so, we're listening to music and things like that. And I'm very controlling, and I say this a million times, it's so true. I can't catch a vibe. So when it really comes down to what's playing on the radio station, it just might be better for everyone if I'd made that decision. I have really great music taste. I really do. And that's just how I feel. So anyway, we're driving from place to place. I'm like, listen, we can listen to Beyonce. We can listen to Jay-Z. You want to spice it up? You want to go crazy? We can listen to Jay-Z and Beyonce. They do have an album together. You know what I mean? And of course, I'm being dramatic, and that's not exactly how things were. But, when we're driving in the car and it's like, what do you want to listen to? They're like, I want to listen to 21 Savage. No, I'm not listening to 21 Savage in my car. I'm not. And I started to feel like, sometimes with new rappers, sometimes with I'm not against rap. I'm not against rappers, but I am against those thugs. You know what I mean? Um and if you don't know, those are lyrics to a very popular rap song. Thuggish Ruggish Thuggish Thuggish Ruggish Bone. Is that a rap song? The only reason why I listen to Thuggish Ruggish Bone ever is because of the woman singing on the back of the track. I cannot rap along to that song. I don't even know if it is a rap song. I skip. I only want to hear her vocally going off and giving us everything at the end of that track. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Well, actually, it's kind of the entire point. The point that I'm making is that I don't really listen to a lot of new rappers. I don't listen to certain music that makes me feel like shit. No, let's not even say I don't listen to music that makes me feel like shit, because there are certain really wrong and cruel and misogynistic songs from the 90s and early 2000s that I can occasionally dabble in and listen to for the culture, and nostalgia's sake. But I think a lot of the new rap just isn't good. I think the rap just isn't good. Okay. Um, okay, so what's the point that I'm making? The point that I'm making is I don't want to listen to 21 Savage. I know probably one 21 Savage song. I'm not really a huge fan. I don't want to listen to it. So that's one of the artists and one of the rappers that they're like, oh, I want to listen to. I love 21 Savage, whatever. Okay. So there was an instance where we were all driving in the car. My mom was driving. I'm in the passenger seat. The French exchange students are in the back, and obviously I have my phone plugged into the aux cord, and I'm like, like, what should we listen to? Like, what should we play next? And I'm like, oh my God, like, let's put on some George Clinton. First of all, love George Clinton down. Love Funkadelic. I'm going to get into it every single time. It is something about the music. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we don't have the time. We don't have the time to talk about all of the music that I love. What is the point that I'm making here? Because I don't want to be here for 500 hours. Okay. I'm going to put on a George Clinton song. My mom is like, no, don't put that song on. And basically, what's underlying that statement, the reason that my mom doesn't want to put on a George Clinton song is like this kind of like weird thing that can only be described as embarrassment. And in that moment, I was really irritated because you can listen to 21 Savage, but you can't listen to George Clinton. They can listen to 21 Savage, but they can't listen to George Clinton. There is no 21 Savage if there is no George Clinton. And so as I'm listening to Black music and Black artistry, it is about Black culture, and it is about Black history, and it is about Black liberation. And so when I'm looking through the music through that lens, how weird is it for you to come into the culture and only know 21 Savage? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that that's all that these boys know and all this other stuff, but it's like the only rap music that you know is the sounds that go viral on TikTok, right? The rap music and the Black music and the R&B and all of the things that I know are the things that I grew up listening to because of who my parents are, because it is my culture, because it is my history. And so there's a certain level of appreciation, and there is a certain level of like being able to identify with something that comes along with listening to music. There's an appreciation there. And a couple of years later, because this was before Sinners came out, but Sinners is such a great example of what I'm trying to articulate about how I felt in that moment. For those of you that have never seen the movie Sinners, I'll spoil just a little part of it. Basically, at some point towards kind of like the beginning of the film, they are inside of this juke joint. They're inside of this thing, which is basically like a club, and they are dancing, and one of the main characters is performing. And as he is performing, he basically is so tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the spirit of music, the spirit of God, the spirit of the ancestors, that he, in a way, gets connected to like a portal or like this like wormhole. And there is this moment and experience of like time travel. And so we're seeing this sequence as this man is singing on the stage. We're seeing this sequence of history, Black history, African history, enslaved African history, the dance and music style of African history, and then how that changes and grows and expands, and we move into blues, and then we move into hip hop, and it's so beautiful and so hard to describe, and one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen on a screen. Like, God, I love that scene so much in that movie. And so that's what I was, in a way, understanding a couple of years ago when that thing with George Clinton versus 21 Savage happened. Even though 21 Savage wasn't mentioned in that moment, even though the boys in the back seat were not like, oh my God, we don't want to hear George Clinton. But it was that experience where I was like, isn't that so interesting that you would be more comfortable with them listening to more popular and well-known artists from today, but you would feel embarrassed, question mark, that's the best word that I have to describe, for them to listen to the music of our past, which is so important for our history and who we are and our culture. Culture evolves over time. And if you're truly going to have an appreciation of culture, you need to have an appreciation of history. If you're going to have an appreciation of music, if you're going to have an appreciation of Black history, if you're going to have an appreciation of African Americans, you need to know African American history. And so it frustrates me and it irritates me because it's very surface level. You don't know anything about Black people. You don't know anything about Black culture. You just know that when you were going to house parties in 2016, they were playing YG. You don't know anything beyond that. And so you've got your little white kid that you're raising in little white suburbia, like Taylor Swift says, where the whole block is looking like you. And their only perception of Black culture is YG. So when they grow up and they get around Black people, what are they going to think? What are they going to assume about Black people? How are they going to interact with Black people? How are they going to perceive Black people? But you don't want to hear me. You just want to dance. You don't want to hear me. You just want to post and go viral on TikTok. It is that serious and it is that deep because it is my history and it is my life and it is my lives, the lives of my people who are ended and negatively impacted by the bullshit, right? I don't like those moments and I don't like those videos. I don't like people who don't really have that appreciation of the culture and the history, but you want to profit off of it, but you want to gain social currency off of it, but you want to, you know, be recognized off of it. I don't like that because it doesn't become about appreciation. It becomes using my culture and my history, which is rooted in so much pain and so much hurt and so much trauma. When you listen to Black music and you listen to Black history and you listen to Black art, you're not just listening to or perceiving this one thing, right? To quote Kamala Harris, do you think that you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist within the context. This Black art exists within the context. When you are consuming Black art, you are consuming art that is a direct product of survival. It's a direct product of tenacity. It's a direct product of being unwilling to give up in the face of racism and injustice and oppression. I don't like when other cultures may be perceived and held in a higher sort of regard and a higher sort of respect when what Black Americans have done is quite literally go from being at the fucking bottom to being the most prominent group across the globe. And when I say that Black Americans are the most prominent group across the globe, I mean, what the fuck is K-pop? And who was on the mood board for that? And where did they get that from? And why is that cool? We can't lie and pretend that any other culture is copy and pasted and disrespected in the way that Black American culture is disrespected. It's just really a fact. We can look at it, we can see. We're not saying that different cultures don't get appropriated and all of that. I'm saying everybody all around the globe wants to say nigga, but nobody around the globe wants to be a nigga. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. I watched this video on TikTok and it brings me so much joy. There's a mother, she's recording, and there's a grandmother, and there's a baby, like a newborn baby, okay? Like very, very young, fresh out of the womb, little adorable Black baby girl, right? And so her grandma is talking to her, and her grandma basically is like, you are Black, you are African American, you're a beautiful African American princess. Like, she's just basically saying, like, you're a revolutionary, you're this, you're that, right? Of course, I'm watching, I'm eating it up. And then the little Black baby girl, she raises her hand. She only raises one arm, okay? She raises one arm. Her hand is above her head. And the second that she does it, her grandma says, power to the people. And it's one of the cutest things I've ever said. I probably reposted it on my TikTok. I probably saved it. Oh my God. I love it so much. And it's like, this is Black American culture. This is Black American culture. This is what it means to raise a baby blackly. You know what I'm saying? When there is an understanding of the history, when there is an understanding of the culture, there are different little moments like that that don't happen when you don't have that understanding of the culture, that don't happen when you don't have that understanding of the history, that don't happen when you don't have that respect. That little white baby is going to grow up being able to listen to YG, Twist My Fingers. Do you dance, YG? Do you dance? Do you dance, YG? Do you dance? It's a good song. It's very catchy. But will that little white baby understand and grasp power to the people and what that means? The relevance of that and the power of that and the history within that. So no, I don't like those videos on the internet. I hate them, actually. They frustrate me, with the little white girl in Paris who fought the guy or whatever. You're a New Yorker. Why couldn't you find an audio that said, hey, I'm walking over here? Why couldn't you find an audio that said, I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse? And I'm sorry if that's offensive to Italians. Fuck those other niggas because you're down for your niggas. You ride for your niggas. You die for your niggas. The thing about rap music is that because of my history and because of my energy, let me say that again. The reason why that insulted me and pissed me off wasn't because she was wrong. Yes, in that particular moment, the idea and concept of, if you hurt someone that I love, then I'm going to fuck you up. Like, yeah, she didn't use the audio incorrectly, but I still found it to be offensive. Because the way that I use certain music, the way that I use that song, the way that I use that song, if I am doing a magical working, I am a hoodoo practitioner, I am a conjure woman, I am a root worker. If I am doing magic and I play the song, fuck them other niggas because I'm down for my niggas, I ride for my niggas, I die for my niggas, If you fuck with me, it's a must you die. You might be able to run, but you can't hide. It's like shooting yourself. It's a suicide. You can't feel me, but I have chills right now. Fuck them other niggas because I ride for my niggas. I die for my niggas. When there's something going on in my life and I'm doing a magical working and there's something negative that has happened and somebody needs their ass handed to them and I played the song, fuck them other niggas because I'm down for my niggas, that means somebody very well may die. It's very serious. There are certain songs, there are certain rap songs that I am not allowed to sing willy-nilly because there are very real life consequences to the work that I do. Like, really, it's really serious. It's really serious. And I'm not saying that, oh, you should never blah, blah, blah. I'm saying there's power in that. I'm saying there's power in the songs. There's power in the music. Set It Off by Boosie is such a great example. You want to talk shit? You want to run your mouth? You want some gangsters at your motherfucking house? We'll set this bitch off. Every single time I play that song, every single time, it's like there's energy and there's like heat that is rising up within me. My ancestors are listening. The spirit world is fucking active. Because we need to set it off in this motherfucker. We need to set it off in this motherfucker? There's energy in that. There's a spirit in that. And no, if you're not a Black American, you cannot feel that same spirit in that same way. You just can't. Just like I don't feel the spirit that somebody else might listen to. I might listen to a song by Soulaan. I feel Puerto Rican in this hair. I might listen to a song by Soulaan. Did I grow up listening to Soulaan? Kind of, sort of, not really. Because I grew up in Southern California. So I grew up around a lot of Mexican people. So when I'm going to friends' houses or I'm going to the candy lady's house in the apartment complex and I'm running out of the house with my homegirls or I'm over my friend's house, the Soulaan movie a lot of times was playing, or many times was playing. I still don't know to this day if I have ever seen the Soulaan movie all the way through, front to the end. It's something that I've seen in 1,000,001 little pieces over the course of my lifetime. Somebody who grew up within that culture, somebody who grew up listening to certain music, it's going to take them to a different place. I might listen to El Baile del Beeper. Fucking love that song. It doesn't take me back to when I was 5 years old. It doesn't take me back to when I was in my mother's womb. It takes me back to probably about 10 years ago. Going out to my friends' family parties and listening to that song and dancing all night. Beautiful, amazing, wonderful, fabulous music. I can have an appreciation for it, but it doesn't move me. It doesn't shift energy within me in the same way that my music from my culture shifts energy within me. I talk about this all the time when it comes to magic. Your most powerful magic is going to come from your family. It's going to come from your lineage. It's going to come from your culture. That doesn't mean that you can't experience different cultures and appreciate them and learn about different histories. This is something that I always think is so important, especially as I'm preparing to travel outside of the country and different things like that. I am the kind of person that wants to go to museums. I am the kind of person who wants to learn about the history of a place. I just think that it's the respectful thing to do. I'm not the kind of person who sees one location as, oh, this is just a cool place for a party. I want to understand the things that happened at a place. I want to understand the past so that I can understand the present. I want to understand the progression. And does that mean that I have to be a historian and I have to know everything? No, it means to me that is a sign of a certain level of respect. And even then, from that place of understanding someone else's culture and learning about somebody else's culture, it still doesn't move and shake my spirit in the way that Black American culture moves and shakes and alters my spirit. When you don't have a respect for a culture and you don't have a respect for someone's history, it gets really fetishizy really quick. It gets really fetishizy really quick because it's surface level. And so now you're not dealing with me as a human being who is living out the consequences of hundreds and, billions and millions of years of history, complex history, powerful history. You're dealing with, I'm fucking with Tanisha and Keisha. And when Keisha see Tanisha, she gonna whoop her ass. All my homies gangbangers. They dry their clothes on hangers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're interacting with. You're not interacting with my history. You're not interacting with my family. You're not interacting with my past. You're interacting with what you've heard in music. You're interacting with what you've seen in movies. That's not genuine, authentic connection. It's surface level. And when you're interacting with people in a surface level way, it's really disrespectful because you're not seeing them. You're not interacting with who they truly are. Lately, I've been listening to this song from the 1980s. It came out in 1982. So my mother would have been in her early 20s when it came out. And it's a remix. It's a remix. Well, it just says mixed in the title. It's called Nasty Girl Mixed by Vanity Six. And I love the song so bad because it really resonates with just where I am in my life and expanding my own sex appeal. But I also really love this song because I know for a fact that my mom was in the clubs in 1982 and she was listening to this fucking song, And like the idea of my mother acting a fool to the song and then 400 million years later, me acting a fool to the song, I like that visual. I like that idea. When I listen to, let me look up. The Delphonics, I'm listening to a song that I like and that I enjoy, but I'm also listening to a song that my father's father would have listened to, that my grandfather would have really loved. I'm listening to a song that my father really loved. He loved old songs like that. I don't even know what the name of that style of song is. So anyway, there's a certain level of being connected to my history and being connected to my ancestors and being connected to my familial past that happens when I'm listening to music. When I listen to music and I get to be taken back to my childhood, music was some of the best parts of my childhood. Some of my happiest memories are connected to me listening to music, me hearing music on the radio, and just feeling a shift within myself. I could cry right now just thinking about it. Like, I love those experiences. It means something to me. There's depth there. There's meaning there. There's There's a certain level of care there. And I find it to be very insulting to be around people who do not have that same level of care. I find it to be insulting to be around people who do not have that same level of respect. You know what I'm saying? When I'm listening to rap music, that, because not all rap music is the same, of course. When I'm listening to rap music like Set It Off, when I'm listening to rap music that has an aggressive tone or a protective tone, it's like I'm tapping into the energy of my spirit, of the ancestors. You know what I mean? If I wanted to evoke the spirit of Nat Turner, I probably would listen to Fuck Them Other Niggas, because I'm down for my niggas. I ride for my niggas, man. Fuck them other niggas. Do you understand that difference? There's a victimized little white girl in Paris. Not saying nothing bad happened, not saying it was okay or whatever. There's a victimized little white girl in Paris, fuck them other niggas because I'm down for my niggas, versus calling on and evoking the presence of Nathaniel Turner when it's really time to go crazy. When it's really time, when I really need the spirits to show up and show the fuck out. Because I'm done with injustice and they're done with injustice and we're done with injustice. One band, one motherfucking sound. Spirit world and the physical world coming together, working together to dismantle systemic oppression. Fuck them other niggas because I'm down for my niggas. I ride for my niggas. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. There's a difference in energy there. There's a difference in the way that it feels. One feels cheap. One feels like a costume. One feels like cosplay. You don't know any niggas and you're actually really not a down ass nigga. You're not that. When I say that I'm a real let's move on. That's the story. My story is that I have been really loving and respecting the fuck out of Black culture and Black history lately. Really wanting to learn more in the name of honoring who I am and where I come from. And I think that a lot of us across cultures might want to try that as well. Instead of treating your culture and treating your people like it's just like it's not something to be respected, like it's not something to be honored. Maybe change that, because it is. Personally, I would never visit a country that I was not interested if I was not interested in learning about its history. London is not really on my list of places to visit. Might be fits between here and here, and I've got some time in a layover, or I'm feeling nostalgic over Harry Potter, even though screw J.K. Rowling, you know. Like maybe, possibly, I'm not really giving too much of a fuck about London, right? And not even just from the perspective of its terrible, horrible history, but I'm just not interested. Everything doesn't interest me. I don't want to learn about everything. I don't care about everyone's culture. And just because I say I don't care about everyone's culture, that doesn't mean that if I don't care about it, that it's not special. That doesn't mean that if I don't care about it, that it's not important. That doesn't mean if I don't care about it, that it's bad or it's unworthy of love. That means I'm not interested. Who gives a fuck? We all get to have our own interests. We all get to have our own likes and dislikes. And being a woman who has strong boundaries and being a woman who has a strong sense of self is being able to say, this is not for me. I'm not interested. There are certain places that I probably will never visit because I don't have an interest. I don't find it to be interesting. If I learn something that I find to be interesting, then I'm willing to change my mind and, go check some stuff out. But If I don't find it to be interesting, then I'm not going, and I don't give a damn, and I don't have to give a damn. And that's okay. But if you don't find Black American culture interesting, if you don't find Black American history interesting, maybe don't listen to the fucking music. And that's just how I feel. That's just how I fucking feel. I am not a fake cartoon made up thing. That's where disrespect comes in. Like, for example, I didn't watch the Golden Globes. I don't really watch the award shows or different things like that. But I'm pretty sure, the Golden Globes, and there's a white woman who I don't find to be funny at all. I think I've seen a couple different clips of her, and if I haven't seen a couple different clips of her, I do apologize. She does look like every other skinny white blonde woman that I've ever seen, so I might be mixing her up with somebody else, but that's neither here nor there. She's a comedian, I think, or she tries to be. And I don't know if she was the host of it or something, but she was on stage and she was talking and she was sharing her jokes and stuff. And she was like, Michael B. Jordan is in Sinners, and he plays two brothers. Am I allowed to say that? I didn't find that joke to be funny. I didn't find that joke to be funny at all. I actually find it to be so fucking irritating when they do shit like that. Is that politically incorrect and unaware? Will I get canceled for that? Because it really is a joke to you, right? That's water all of that down. It really is a joke to you. I'm not saying that I'm pro being canceled, and if we've had conversations about this, I talk to my personal clients, about it all the time. There's no such thing as being canceled, because people might not like you, but there's always going to be somebody who likes you. There's always going to be somebody who fucks with you and somebody who's buying your shit, as long as you're a vibrational match to people fucking with you and buying your shit, right? But it's not really about that for me. It's about, what does that actually mean? What are the actual consequences of the casual racism? What are the actual consequences of the casual racism? A couple of years ago, I was in high school. It was my senior year. And in my previous junior year, I'm going to come back to the joke, but we have to understand the context. Previously, in my junior year, I had a lot of issues with this white woman who was my teacher for English. And she and I had a lot of issues because I'm brilliant and I'm Black and I'm loud and I'm smart and I'm really not a dick sucker. So, of course, we did not get along. And she ends up leaving our high school to go to New York, which sucks because it's actually my city and there's actually not room for the both of us. But that's another conversation for another time. So she leaves our school and she goes to work in New York, whatever. Fast forward my senior year. Now she comes back to visit, whatever. She goes into my AP literature class. She hugs literally every single student in the class except for me. Naturally, that's fine. I don't want to catch whatever she has. Let's not even talk about it. I'm not saying that she has an actual specific thing. I just mean there's a spiritual thing. A secret third thing that I don't want to catch. Anyway, the spirit of racism and oppression that I don't want to catch. Anywho, so she then, my friend, is telling me the story of like the next day or something like that. Long story short, the white woman was in another racist white woman's class and she was telling a funny story of her experiences in New York City and working with the children, right? And so she's like, it's so funny how in the mornings when you're going to school, you'll see all of the kids rushing to class. And so it's a big group, these big groups of these Black children, and they are running from the train, rushing to get to class so that they can make it on time. And apparently, the school where she's working was in a neighborhood that is predominantly old and wealthy and white. And so there are all of these old people, old white people, that are going into the stores in the morning, and they're seeing all of the Black children running down the street in order to make it to school on time. And these old white people are grabbing their purses because they're so scared that these Black children are coming to rob them and mug them. And first of all, I'll never forget that for as long as I fucking live. And second of all, we will always be enemies for as long as I fucking live. And third of all, we will not stop until she's having an experience where she's never allowed to teach another motherfucking Black child for as long as I fucking live. Unfortunately, the way that I am set up, the way that my need for social justice is set up, I've been working on forgiveness. I really have. And it's really been helping me to have great relationships with people. However, there are certain things that I will not let go of. There are certain things that I will not move on from. And shit like that. The white woman who swears that it is like her mission to help end poverty and to like help all of these Black ass kids, for you to make a fucking joke like that. Oh, she makes the joke, they laugh and they laugh and they laugh. Oh my God, it's so funny. And then my friend, who's a white girl, she's telling you the joke and she's like laughing when she says it as if it's funny. And I say, that's not fucking funny. There's nothing funny about that. Not views. Why is that not funny? Why is there nothing funny about that? Well, because New York City is also home to the Central Park Five. You don't know what happened with the Central Park Five? Why don't you look up what happened with the Central Park Five? And while you're looking up what happened with the Central Park Five, why don't you look up what happened with the Central Park Five and who the current leader of this motherfucking nation, what the current leader of this motherfucking nation said should happen to the innocent Black boys of the Central Park Five. I can't remember how old they were when this happened. What are the consequences of Black and brown children and people being perceived as dangerous? Even when there's no motherfucking proof in the country where the atrocities of Emmett Till and the Central Park Five and Tamir Rice, in the country where bullshit like that has occurred, in the country where Black children can be prosecuted, killed, convicted of guilty, punishment, death, no judge, no jury. The consequences of Black boys being perceived as dangerous is death. So no, I don't think that is fucking funny that these innocent children who are just trying to get their education are experiencing racial profiling every single motherfucking day of their lives. I don't think that there's anything funny about that. So I think that jokes are serious. And I am somebody who can appreciate a politically incorrect joke when it's done well and it's executed well. I do believe that comedy is something that really takes skill and it's art. And so there's always commentary. There's always a greater conversation. Think about the Chappelle show. I watched Dave Chappelle's latest stand up. I have absolutely zero comments. He's really going out sad. It's really unfortunate for him. He doesn't have anybody in his life that loves him, maybe. Because when they do shit like that, that's what that always screams to me. Because if somebody loved you, they would have told you to sit your black ass down and do something different. They would have told you, not this joke, not this joke, not this joke, not this one. This shit ain't even funny. It wasn't even funny. Anyway. But what's the point that I'm making? When you go back to the Chappelle show and you watch the skits like, I plead the fifth, that commentary is fucking layered as shit. When there's a black man on the stand and he's pleading the fifth and he writes on his paper F-I-F instead of fifth. Not only is it fucking hilarious, but it's also commentary. What do we know about black people and how they have historically been undereducated, excluded from education, segregation, separate, not equal? So there's commentary there. And then, of course, there's commentary about what do rich people do when they get in trouble? They plead the fifth and they get off, you know? So when there's meaningful commentary, when you actually have something to say, the jokes can be funny. Michael B. Jordan played two brothers. Am I allowed to say that? That's not fucking funny. That's not funny. And then she goes on to say, he's so handsome in the movie. Something, something, something. She does a play on words with his name. And I think her name is Nikki or something. And so she's like, Michael B. Jordan, more like Nikki B. Jerking it. Ew. You saw a movie? The Sinners movie is so... Ryan Coogler, the man that you are. Ryan Coogler, the man that you are. It is so complex and layered. Beautifully done. There is so much history there, right? Think about the opening scene. I'm pretty sure it's the opening scene where there's a white man and he's obviously, I don't know if he's selling, I think he's selling them the juke joint or the space, the warehouse or whatever that they're using for the juke joint or whatever. And also I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I think that it's bloody because it's very clear that the KKK men have done this before where they take the money from the black men and then they come back and like kill them and like wash, rinse, repeat. I think that that's inferred, but I'm not sure on that one. Okay, so that might be made up. But anyway, there are these two brothers, Smoke and Stack. They're having a conversation with this white man from whom they are purchasing this warehouse. They're going to take the warehouse. They're going to turn it into a juke joint, which is basically a club, right? The white man is obviously racist, but we don't know that the white man is racist. However, there are certain ways that the white man is speaking, and there are certain phrases that the white man is using. And there's a characterization happening of every single character in that scene, in this opening scene. So first, we have this white man who is looking at Smoke and Stack, who are literally fucking identical twins, and says, "Are you two brothers?" And then Stack says, "No, we cousins." That's funny. In that moment, what do we learn? We learn that Stack is sharp-witted, sarcastic, and more playful, the more playful of the two brothers. And of course, this is seen throughout the entirety of the film. And so there's a certain level of racial tension there because where are we? We're in the Mississippi Delta. This is like 1933, I believe, is where the movie takes place, the setting of the film. So we know that there's some level of racial tension. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what kind of white person this guy is and all this stuff, right? And then the white man is referring to these two grown black men as boy. And then immediately we understand, and he is characterized as a racist because of the history. And you would know this history if you studied this history. You would know this history if you are black and you grew up understanding it and seeing it and different things like that. Even there's an episode of The View where Tamara, which is which? No, it's definitely Tamara. Tamara was on The View. Tamara is talking about a conversation she had with her mother, who is black. And she's like joking around with her mother. And she says to her mother, she calls her mother, girl, you are so blah, blah, blah. And her mother gets very serious and very upset. And is like, don't you ever call me girl. And of course, her mother did. Think about what her mother's experience would have been growing up as a black woman who is obviously old enough to be Tamara's mother. I have no idea how old Tamara is, but she's probably like in her 40s now. So maybe her mother's in her 60s, 70s, maybe 80s. I have no idea. So there's a certain understanding that you get immediately being somebody that's watching this film. Somebody who doesn't have an understanding of black history and black culture, they might have missed that. And that's okay. But that's a perfect example of how different people from different places and different cultures are going to be able to absorb and consume media and art in different ways. I can listen to El Baile del Beeper, but I don't know what the lyrics are. I'm just dancing. I'm just vibing. I fucking love this tune. I have no idea what's being said. I'm fucking it up on the dance floor, though. This is really my shit. But I'm not consuming that art in the same way as somebody who speaks Spanish fluently and understands what's being said on the track, right? So there's that scene in Sinners. And then there's moments and conversations when Remick is first trying to get into the juke joint and they're like, we're a little bit wary. And Remick is like, you think me? You think I'm a racist? No. I'm not a racist, mind you. The two people that Remick has killed to come with him, they're literally members of the fucking KKK. Well, they were members of the KKK, right? And so all three of them are racist in their own way. Remick just doesn't possibly consciously know that he's a racist, right? So there's all of these scenes and moments, and things are so layered. The entirety of Stack and Mary's relationship, Stack is a black man, Mary is a white woman who has like a fucking black grandparent or something, right? Their entire relationship dynamic is, this is really dangerous. We can't be together. If people find out that the two of us are together, Stack can be killed. It's a very dangerous situation. It's a very serious situation. Mary doesn't understand this. She's a white woman who was raised with white privilege. And so for her, it's very clearly a star-crossed lovers, Romeo and Juliet, but we belong together thing. And for him, it's something that's much more serious. There's a greater, deeper understanding of that. There's a whole conversation about, whoa, Mary, I don't think that I can let you in here. Whoa, white lady, I don't think that I can let you in here. And even in that scene, when the vampires are first trying to come into the juke joint, I think Stack is like, fuck it, they have money, let them in. And I think it's Smoke who's like, yeah, but what happens when somebody in here looks at their woman the wrong way or steps on their shoes or blah, 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 blah. So the conversation of race is happening from start to finish. It ends with this amazing, I just have to watch this movie when I get done recording this. It ends with this amazing shootout and dead KKK members. It's fabulous. So for you to take this fucking masterpiece of a film, this history-making film, this art, and to water it down so significantly to Michael B. Jordan, you're so hot, I jerked off to you in this film? How is you cool? That's really how I felt. Are you fucking okay? I find it very hard to believe that that was not intentional bullshit. I find it very hard to believe that that was not intentional bullshit. I didn't like that joke. I don't like jokes like that because, first of all, you have said nothing except what you said by accident was, I don't respect black art and I see black men as sexual objects. And that's a whole other conversation for a whole other fucking time. I have a very big issue with that. Later on in the show, I see another clip. She's talking about Kevin Hart and The Rock. She's like, Kevin Hart and The Rock, I love you guys. You guys are such great, you guys do such great comedy together. You guys are like, what's those guys' names, the white men? They're in Only Murderers in the Building. I can't think of their names. Steve Martin. And what's the other guy's name? I don't know. I know they're like iconic and all of that stuff, but I just don't know their names. I'm not being shady. I'm not being funny. I really don't know their names. I think it's Steve Martin and somebody else. You know, Steve Martin, he was in Bringing Down the House. Is that what the name of the movie with Queen Latifah and Eugene Levi? I fucking love that. Cool points are out the window. You got me all twisted up in the game. Like, God. Oh my God. It's such a funny fucking movie. But anyway. Oh my God, such a funny movie. And so many conversations about race happening in that film as well. Oh my God. And the reason why Eugene Levi's character is not a cringy racist mess is because he genuinely and authentically loves this character and has like respect for her. Like when he says the cool points are out the window and you got me all twisted up in the game. He's really done his homework and he's really speaking to her in a language that she understands. And Queen Latifah's character is like, really? That's the sweetest thing that anybody's ever said to me. And it's like, it's funny. But anyway. What's my point? She's like, Kevin Hart, The Rock, you guys are such an iconic duo. You guys are like Steve Martin and that other white guy, except for people who have IQs lower than 50. That's not funny. That's not funny. Kevin Hart and The Rock have literally starred in multiple films and done multiple projects with one another. They are a notorious duo. They are very funny together. And also, what the fuck about Steve Martin and what's his face and their whole duo thing screams made for intelligent people. I've seen Only Murders in the Building. I do like the little television show. I do think that it's a good television show. I do find it to be very funny. But what is intellectually challenging about that duo and about the work and the banter and the back and forth on screen? The men of color are for the idiots, and the white men are smart and they're sophisticated. Ain't shit funny right now. I could tear the house down. This shit is serious to me. Black artistry is serious to me, and respecting Black artistry is serious to me. And all of this shit is historically relevant. We didn't just fall out of a coconut tree. It's incredibly disrespectful to take Michael B. Jordan, who did wonderful work in a film that is so beautifully and wonderfully done and accurate in so many ways, the time and the attention and the effort that went into this film, to take that film and to water it down to, brother, I'd like to fuck you. That's sick. It's sick and it's disrespectful. And this is supposed to be an award show that is showcasing and choosing the best of the best talent, and this is the best comic that you could get for the job? That's how much I really respect the awards that are being handed out tonight. So, I guess the whole conversation that we've just had is about the importance of appreciation. Genuine, authentic appreciation. When I watched Sinners, I cried at the beginning of the film because, why can't I remember his name? I think it's Leroy. Hold on, I'm finding it. When you look up the Sinners cast, Haley Steinfeld, who plays Mary, is the first person who shows up on Google. Even though she is not the most famous, or let's move on. Okay, Delroy Lindo. He plays Delta Slim. There we go. In the beginning of the movie, I nearly cried because this Black man and his mannerisms are the exact mannerisms of my Southern grandfather, who was from Texas. Seeing that man on that screen, immediately I was there. Immediately I was locked in. Immediately I was able to identify with this character, not in a personal way, but like, I know him. And it wasn't the like character's traits, because my grandfather wasn't an alcoholic, and his personality and my grandfather's personality, they're not the same at all. It was literally the mannerisms. Can't remember what happened, but Delroy does something, Delta Slim does something with his hand. I can't even fucking remember what it is, but immediately I was like, whoa. This is such a Southern Black man thing. My grandfather does the same thing, did the same thing. So there's power there in that representation. The film was not just, oh, this is such a good film, like it was such a great story. No, the film meant something to me. Historically, there were so many messages that were delivered. It was a film that made me think. It was a film that really changed the trajectory of my life in so many ways that we just can't even talk about right now, but that we will be talking about later in the year. I love Black art, and I respect Black art, and I respect Black culture, and I don't water my culture down to stereotypes. What it means to be a Black American woman to me is the complexity. It's not just twist my fingers by YG, even though that's an aspect of my Blackness. It's also speaking life into the newest revolutionary, which is my newborn baby girl. And when she didn't lift both hands up. It was just one. Power to the people. She felt the spirit. She felt the spirit. Yes. She said, I am a Black American princess, period. Power to the people. It's insane. It's beautiful and it's insane. It's powerful and it's significant. And it deserves respect. I'm tired of little white girls using TikTok sounds. Nigga this, nigga that. You don't know any niggas. You don't give a fuck about niggas. If you woke up tomorrow and all of the niggas in the world were dead, you wouldn't give a shit as long as you still had some cool music to shake something to. That's the problem that I have with it. You don't give a fuck. You don't really give a damn. When it's really time to fight for something, you don't have it in you. So fuck the bullshit and fuck playing and fuck trying to portray yourself as something that you're really not on social media. When I say fuck them other niggas because I'm down for my niggas, I don't just mean if you and I are on a trip to Paris and somebody does something to you, I'm going to protect you and defend you. I mean, I'm the kind of person who stands up to injustice anywhere that I see it. It doesn't have to be somebody that I know. And it doesn't have to be somebody that looks like me. And it doesn't have to be somebody who speaks the same language as me. That's what the fuck it means to be down for your niggas. In my mind. That's what it really means to be a down-ass bitch. That's what it really means to be a social justice fucking warrior. And if you're not a down-ass bitch and you're not a social justice fucking warrior, I don't think you need to be posting videos and TikTok sounds and audios and da-da-da-da-da, nigga this, nigga that. I don't think anybody needs to be doing it regardless. If you're not Black and it's not your culture, but especially when you're not really about shit. It irritates me. I'm tired of seeing it. Nigga this, nigga that. Oh. That's all that I have to say, really. I guess this episode was really just a rant. And also me just sharing how much I love being Black. Sexy Soulaan, Black American princess. That's me. That's what they're saying. You ask around about them. You ask around about them. You ask around about me. You say, what do you know about Natalie Hughes? They say, sexy Soulaan girl. The Black American princess. Yeah. And it is important. And it is that fucking relevant. Because you start going on motherfucking willy-nilly. People start acting a damn fool. On TikTok, there was a viral macaroni and cheese by this white girl named Teeny. So there's a Black creator who's been making food content for I don't know how long, maybe a decade. I became aware of him in like 2019, and by then I feel like he had a large following, but I don't know. So he shared his macaroni and cheese recipe or something, and somebody commented and said, is this Teeny's recipe? And he made a TikTok video. He said, no, my macaroni and cheese recipe is not Teeny's macaroni and cheese recipe. In other words, no, I did not get the recipe for my Black American baked macaroni and cheese from a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. And y'all, I have to say this 2.5. I never know if they have blue eyes. I don't give a fuck. You rope it in. You rope it into the Aryanness of it all. Okay? The white, blonde, blue, that's what it is. That's the standard. Okay? So I don't give a fuck about her eye color for real. But that's the conversation. The conversation that needs to be had. You start letting people who don't respect you and who don't respect your history participate in your culture and parade that shit around like a motherfucking costume. Then they start acting like they invented shit that they didn't invent. Now everybody's confused. We don't really know what information came from. I don't like that shit. I don't participate in that shit. I don't find that shit to be cute. I don't find that shit to be funny. I don't do that. I'm tired of seeing it. Keep that shit off my timeline for the rest of my lifetime. Amen? And that's all I have to say. It really was just an hour-long rant. And I love being black. I love being black so bad. Like, I get it. Like, I would want to appropriate the culture too. Oh. Try next lifetime. Bye.